Hey, Cowboys Nation. Today we're breaking down the upcoming matchup and diving into how Dallas can perform against the Arizona Cardinals. Starting with the quarterback situation, Dak Prescott has been extremely consistent this season. Compared to other top-tier players, he's operating at a high level, giving the team confidence even after some tough games. On the defensive side, the Cardinals haven't stood out in terms of pressure or sacks, which opens opportunities for Prescott to attack through the air. A key factor is that Arizona loves split safety looks with two deep safeties, and Dak has historically handled these coverages well, especially cover 4, completing a high percentage of passes and generating above-average yardage. That puts Dallas in a favorable position to control the passing game. Another matchup to watch is man versus zone coverage, which depends heavily on who's under center for Arizona. Kyler Murray has struggled in man coverage this season, while Jacoby Brissett has been more effective. This suggests the Cowboys can take advantage by employing aggressive man-to-man schemes to disrupt the quarterback's reads and limit passing options. Choosing the right coverage here could be a game-changer. Looking at personnel, Dallas runs 11 personnel frequently, and their yards per play have been impressive. The Cardinals often respond with dime packages, using 6 defensive backs to counter the offense. This dynamic creates an opportunity for the Cowboys to establish the run game inside, exploiting the gaps left by the heavy defensive package and maximizing efficiency on ground plays. On defense, Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. are the Cardinals' most dangerous targets. McBride has been a reliable option on third down, while Harrison, after a couple of inconsistent games, looks ready to get back on track. Deep coverage, however, remains a vulnerability for Dallas. Long throws have been converted at a high rate, and this is something the team needs to tighten up to prevent explosive plays and maintain control of the game. Even with decent pass rush pressure, the defense has struggled to contain deep attempts, so limiting big plays will be key. The offensive line also plays a crucial role. Clayton Adams, who moved from Arizona to Dallas, will likely have extra motivation, and the efficiency of the starting 5 can determine Prescott's protection and the overall flow of the offense. Defensively, players like Don Bland and Osa Odighizuwa have clear responsibilities. Bland needs to maintain consistency in coverage and limit big plays, while Odighizuwa must make up for the absence of Micah Parsons and reassert himself in both pass rush and run defense. Finally, CeeDee Lamb is a focal point of the offense, and his performance could be pivotal in opening opportunities for Prescott. Despite a slower start in recent games, his ability to find separation and create plays remains a key weapon for Dallas, especially against secondaries focused on preventing deep shots. The combination of an efficient passing game, adjusted defensive schemes, and impact from key linemen will ultimately define how the Cowboys perform against Arizona. Moving deeper into the matchup, one area that demands attention is how the Cowboys plan to attack the Cardinals' defensive tendencies and exploit specific weaknesses. Arizona has shown a heavy reliance on cover 4 zones, especially in response to split safety looks, which can leave them vulnerable to precise timing routes and intermediate passes if executed properly. Dak Prescott has consistently performed well against these looks, showing the ability to dissect zones with accuracy and make defenders pay when they overcommit. The chemistry between Prescott and his primary targets has been one of the highlights of Dallas offense this season, and understanding the Cardinals' defensive rhythm will be critical in maintaining that effectiveness. The offensive line's protection, particularly in keeping Prescott upright for those intermediate reads, cannot be overstated. With players like Tyler Smith, and the returning starters holding the line, Dallas has the potential to dictate the pace of the game and stretch the field vertically and horizontally. The Cowboys also have to consider the impact of personnel on running plays, especially against a defense that can flex into heavy packages when facing 11 personnel. Establishing the run game inside the tackles not only keeps the defense honest, but also creates play-action opportunities that can free up receivers downfield. Even though the Cardinals have done a decent job against the run on the interior, there are gaps that Prescott and the offensive coordinators can exploit, particularly by keeping linebackers occupied with quick-hitting runs and misdirection. Ezekiel Elliott's ability to hit those lanes decisively and gain positive yardage consistently could be the difference between sustaining drives and being forced into long third downs. This balancing act between run and pass is what separates good offenses from great ones, and the Cowboys' execution in this area will reveal a lot about how prepared they are for a playoff-caliber matchup. Shifting focus to the defensive side of the ball, there's no ignoring the importance of containment against key playmakers. Trey McBride has become a focal point in crucial third-down situations, drawing attention from linebackers and safeties alike. Marvin Harrison Jr., despite a recent dip in consistency, has the athleticism to make contested catches and create explosive plays if left unchecked. The Cowboys' defensive backs will need to maintain tight leverage and avoid being pulled out of position by route combinations that test their communication and spatial awareness. Don Bland's coverage metrics suggest he can handle high-pressure situations and limit opposing quarterbacks' efficiency when targeted, but the rest of the secondary will need to step up, particularly against deep shots where Arizona has historically had success. The challenge is compounded when considering quarterbacks like Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett, who can extend plays with mobility, forcing defenders into uncomfortable open-field situations. Limiting those opportunities requires disciplined pursuit angles, proper spacing in zone concepts, and aggressive but calculated tackling to prevent yards after catch from becoming long gains. Another area of interest is the pass rush, specifically the contributions from Osa Odighizuwa and the surrounding defensive line. While Micah Parsons' absence has undoubtedly shifted responsibilities, Odighizuwa's role as a disruptor is still central to Dallas' defensive strategy. Pressuring the quarterback on timing routes and forcing hurried decisions can mitigate some of the vulnerabilities in deep coverage, essentially creating an advantage for the secondary. The key is maintaining consistent pressure without overcommitting, because overpursuit can open cutback lanes or allow mobile quarterbacks to escape the pocket and find receivers downfield. In essence, Odighizuwa's performance not only affects the immediate pass rush metrics, but also dictates the secondary's comfort level and confidence in covering receivers one-on-one. Special attention should also be given to wide receiver dynamics, particularly CeeDee Lamb, who remains a critical factor in stretching the field and creating space for other playmakers. Lamb's route running, separation ability, and timing with Prescott can exploit gaps in the Cardinals' secondary, especially in situations where split safety coverage leaves intermediate zones vulnerable. Even after a slower outing in previous games, Lamb's skill set ensures that defensive coordinators must account for him on every snap, which in turn opens up opportunities for other targets and running lanes. This interconnectedness of the passing and running game highlights the sophistication of the Cowboys' offensive schemes and their ability to adapt based on defensive alignment, personnel shifts, and in-game adjustments. On the flip side, the Cardinals' quarterback situation will have a significant impact on how Dallas approaches both offense and defense. Kyler Murray, despite his reputation for athleticism and improvisational skill, has struggled in specific situations this season, particularly against man coverage. Jacoby Brissett, in contrast, has shown steadier metrics in these scenarios, making the choice of defensive strategy crucial. The Cowboys coaches must read formations quickly, anticipate plays, and apply pressure without compromising coverage integrity. Deep ball tendencies, short passing efficiency, and quarterback decision-making under duress all factor into how Dallas can control momentum and maintain possession. Proper film study, pre-snap recognition, and in-the-moment adjustments will likely be the difference between limiting explosive plays and allowing Arizona to string together drives. Linebackers and defensive backs also have to consider off-the-ball matchups, where slight misalignments can allow mismatches in both the running and passing game. Against dynamic receiving threats, defenders must balance aggression with discipline, maintaining position to prevent chunk plays. This becomes even more critical when factoring in motion, shifts, and the athleticism of the Cardinals' playmakers. Coverage technique, angle of pursuit, and tackling fundamentals will need to be flawless to prevent high-impact plays, particularly on third-and-long scenarios where the probability of passing increases significantly. Overall, the interplay of offensive execution, defensive discipline, individual matchups, and in-game adjustments will define this contest. From Prescott's precision under pressure to Lamb's ability to create separation, Odighizuwa's pass rush, Bland's coverage, and the offensive line's protection, every piece must function at a high level. Likewise, defensive recognition of Cardinals' tendencies, containment of key targets, and disciplined response to motion and personnel changes will dictate whether Dallas can control the tempo of the game and impose their will. This matchup is a chess match, with every decision influencing the flow, efficiency, and ultimately the outcome, emphasizing the importance of preparation, execution, and adaptability on both sides of the ball. Ultimately, what makes this period so fascinating for fans is the combination of uncertainty and opportunity. On one hand, there's the looming question of how the defense will perform against quarterbacks like Jacoby Brissett. On the other hand, there's the front office actively maneuvering to give the team a better chance to succeed. It's a delicate dance between preparation and improvisation, strategy and execution. The players on the field will determine the immediate results, but the moves in the background could shape the team for years to come. Fans are watching every report, every rumor, and every trade possibility because it all has the potential to impact the game in real time. This is exactly why the Cowboys are in such an interesting position. They have the pieces to dominate, the offensive talent to carry games, and the management willing to take calculated risks to shore up weaknesses. But it all comes down to execution. The defense must show up and prove that the team can handle smart, disciplined quarterbacks who exploit every soft spot in coverage. Meanwhile, the front office is making moves that could transform the roster, bringing in players who can immediately make a difference. For fans, it's a mix of excitement and anxiety, knowing that the outcome of the season could hinge on a few key decisions both on and off the field. At the end of the day, the narrative is clear. The Cowboys have opportunities and challenges in equal measure. The decisions made in the coming weeks, both by the players on the field and the management behind the scenes, will define how far this team can go. With strategic trades, smart roster adjustments, and consistent defensive performance, Dallas has the potential to solidify its status as a true contender. But without that, even a team with elite talent can falter. Every game, every defensive play, every front office move counts. And that's what makes this part of the season so compelling for Cowboys Nation. The tension, the possibilities, the stakes, they're all at the forefront right now, and there's no telling exactly how it will play out. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. The NFL world is buzzing with a story that feels ripped straight from a movie script. Sources close to league insiders suggest that the NFL has officially acknowledged a monumental officiating error from a previous season and, in an unprecedented move, has reportedly decided to return a critical championship title to the Dallas Cowboys. While the league has been notoriously tight-lipped about such reversals, whispers in the corridors of power hint that this is no ordinary correction. This could be one of the most shocking reversals in NFL history. Fans of the Cowboys are already erupting across social media, mixing disbelief with elation. Finally, the recognition we deserved, one fan tweeted, while another speculated that this decision might completely rewrite parts of NFL history. Rival teams, however, are reportedly less enthusiastic, with murmurs of discontent and speculation that the league is trying to placate its most loyal or most vocal fan base. Sources indicate that league executives spent weeks debating the ramifications, from legal implications to the integrity of past records. The internal discussions reportedly included consulting former referees, statisticians, and even historians, all weighing in on how to handle what many insiders call the single most controversial officiating decision in recent memory. While no official statement has yet been released, the rumor mill suggests that the Cowboys' championship trophy will be formally reinstated at a private ceremony, possibly later this season. The details remain sketchy, but one thing seems certain. This isn't just a footnote in NFL history. It's a story that will dominate headlines, podcasts, and sports bars for months to come. Betting lines have reportedly shifted slightly, with some odds makers factoring in the potential morale boost for Dallas. Meanwhile, conspiracy theorists are having a field day, debating whether this is the beginning of a larger effort by the league to retroactively correct past injustices, or simply a one-off gesture to appease a fan base that has felt snubbed for decades. For now, Cowboys fans are riding a wave of excitement, while the rest of the league holds its breath. If confirmed, this reversal would be a landmark moment, proof that sometimes Even in professional sports, justice can be delayed, but it doesn't have to be denied. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.